morning and welcome to the Business Today show market opening. Let's take a look at what's hot in the corporate and financial world this morning. Is yet another record high posted by stocks in the US. S&P 500 and the Dow both hit records as tech stocks rise again. Asia takes a breather after a New Year's rally. Crude oil also slips with supplies from Venezuela set to flood the market. Gold and silver retreat slightly after surging in trade last night. Government to announce the first advanced GDP estimates for the current fiscal later today. Polls put the expected economic growth rate at around 7.5% after an unexpectedly high 8% surge in the first half of this year. The estimates will be key to Budget 2026 announcements. Government rolls out a massive youth skilling plan for AI, 1 million youth to be trained in relevant AI skills in the next 1 year. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav claims a 33% surge in AI hirings, announces 38,000 computers capable of advanced AI tasks have been made available to provide affordable access to world-class resources. U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency puts a figure to the Trump tariff collections, says we'll have to refund nearly $134 billion if the U.S. Supreme Court holds the duties illegal. The Apex Court has been hearing the cases since November and is expected to issue rulings on some cases this Friday. Spotlight on Tata Capital and Meesho as the mandatory share lock-in ends today. More than 4,500 crores worth of stock will be up for trade. Focus also on Reliance Industries after yesterday's meltdown wiped off around 1 lakh crore rupees of investor wealth. Lots to track this morning. Let's take a look at the overnight setup and how we are stacked up as we head into trade. Just about 6 minutes to go and what we're looking like in the pre-open. Steady cues from Wall Street overnight. Asia as well looking pretty decent. Perhaps at this point of time, just about following the cues from Wall Street and has overall actually been also extending gains as well at the start of the new year. We're tracking, of course, our own GDP numbers as well and looking forward to direction on that front as we continue to count down to budget. Just a month or so to go, a little less now. And there you have some of the tech action, and I'll bring up Asia for you also in just a moment. Brokerage firm Nuvama is bullish on Q3 earnings. It's expecting Nifty 50 revenues to grow 8% year on year, profits to rise 5%, but EPS growth to remain flat compared to a 5% rise in the first half. That's the latest coming in from Nuvama on Q3 earnings, saying that at this point of time, they're expecting Nifty 50 revenues up about 8% year on year, profits up 5%, EPS growth to actually remain flat compared to a 5% rise in the first half. So that's not necessarily a runaway indicator coming in from Nuvama, and we'll of course talk more with our guests about this in just a moment as well. But these are some of the key macro indicators we're now looking out for, whether it be of course, what's happening on the GDP, what's happening on the budget, and of course, earnings as well. Remember, the expected economic growth rate is around 7.5% after the unexpectedly high 8% surge in the first half of the year. So this is kind of in line with what Nuvama is saying on Q3 earnings as well. Let me welcome in Shailendra Bhatnagar, of course, from our team here at Business Today and our guest for this morning as well. And, let's discuss some of these key indicators. Sharad Avasthi, Head of Research at PCG Smiths, is joining us this morning. Shail, if I could come to you first on the market setup, 5 minutes to go. What's the pre-open looking like? We'll go back to Shail in just a moment. Sharad, good morning. When it comes to some of the macro indicators and what we're hearing, whether it be on those advanced GDP numbers and what could be expected, whether it be the latest from Nuvama in terms of Q3 earnings and how they're expecting Nifty 50 earnings to stack up, are you in line with these kind of indicators or are you expecting a slightly better performance?
I think in terms of GDP, I would be expecting a similar performance. I think last quarter was a blowout kind of performance, but I think the way IIP and inflation are panning out, it seems that we are in a very good situation. So most probably GDP numbers should continue to be good. What we are largely trying to track is the capex growth that we expect over the next 1 or 2 quarters, because we are expecting a lot of activity on the civil infra side. So I think capex cycle would be stronger. That is something we are looking at. So GDP growth, yeah, it will be in line with what you are talking about. A bit lower than last quarter, but I think much better than the world averages and still better than most countries in the world. And regarding earnings growth, I think maybe the earnings part or the PAT part could ideally surprise you. The top line parts needs to be, introspected much more clearly with respect to the GST cuts, etc., across various categories. But I certainly think that demand and bottom line side Q3 numbers should surprise most market estimates on the upside.
All right. Great. Let me also pull up Reliance. And remember that stock is in focus for a bunch of reasons at this point of time. Let's just pull up how it's doing today. They have come out with clarifications, of course, with regards to with regards to some of the news reports that were put out as well. So at this point of time, let's just pull up Reliance and see how it's stacking up ahead of trade this morning. RIL today is just flat. So after that kind of sell-off yesterday, looking a little steadier in trade right now. So that's on Reliance for you. All right, let's take a look at some of the other stocks in news as well and what we're tracking for you this morning. Tata Cap, let's pull that up as well. That's the other major stock in focus. The company will see the end of its 3-month shareholder lock-in on Wednesday. That's about 2% of its outstanding equity becoming eligible for trading. The stock, which traded in a narrow range now for the last 3 months or so, is moving above its issue price just recently, gained about 6% on Friday. So the shares unlocking are valued at about 2,573 crore rupees, and we're keeping an eye on Tata Cap today. Sharad, let me get your view on Tata Capital.
I think it's a bit on the expensive side, though, it's a strong franchise and the type of growth they are talking long term will be there. But already trading at 4.25 times price to book, I don't think there's much scope for appreciation. And once the lock in opens, I think high probability that we might see some fresh inflows coming in terms of selling orders. So I would try to avoid at these valuations.
All right, that's on Tata Capital. Let's just count down to market opening now. A whole host of stocks in news this morning. Titan, of course, a strong Q3 update coming in, 38% domestic sales growth, and we'll bring up Titan for you shortly. Banks continue to be in focus as well. RBI has released draft norms on dividend and remittance of profit by banks. Biocon is going to be in the news, unveiling plans on 3 new oncology biosimilars. M&M, we've been talking about auto, and M&M is unveiling a 3XO EV starting at an ex-showroom price of 13.89 lakhs. Of course, we've been tracking all of the auto names on the back of sales figures as well as auto anchor stocks as well. Senco Gold Q3 revenue is also up about 51%. So if we focus a little bit on the earnings, Senco Gold, Lodha Q3 pre-sales are up 25%. Keep an eye on Lodha as well. Let's pull up some of those gainers on opening ticks right now. There you have it. Nifty down just about 0.2%. So looking a little weak this morning, shaving off some of the gains that we've seen around the New Year period. Nifty Bank also just a marginal downtick. So we've been talking about how the valuations, of course, are keeping markets from moving to further levels right now. I think it will require, and we'll get Sharad's view on that, a little bit more in terms of the earnings stacking up in order to now move the needle. Mid-cap 100 also about flat to negative at this point of time. And let's bring up the movers and gainers as well. Titan 3% on the back of earnings. Hindalco, Hero Motor, some of these names following suit. Grasim, Tata Consumer, M&M, all actually in the green this morning. Let's also take a look at where perhaps some of the pressure is coming from. Cipla, L&T, Eternal, ONGC, that's where we've got a little bit of the downside this morning. Let me just focus on Titan for a moment. Nomura also putting a buy with a target of 4,500, saying that the Q3 numbers are a significant beat and consolidated sales growth is actually, even ex-bullion, is actually much above estimates. So a 2.75% uptick on a Titan, just an opening trade, 38% domestic sales growth, that's year on year. Sharad, let's get your view on Titan this morning.
I think the quarterly numbers are a positive, particularly the non-bullion growth that you're talking about. I think that's a very positive development. It's been some time that they have not been able to pull up, the socks on the rest of the business. It's primarily been gold prices that have been very supportive for them, even in this year. And in the past also, whenever we have seen abnormal growth. So I think finally the other businesses picking up will be a very positive development for them. and the markets obviously are reacting positively. You should have reacted. But in terms of valuation, I think unless and until we look at a strong re-rating in forward earnings going ahead, I think what are we expecting next year? 65, 70 rupees kind of earnings. So already trading at what, roughly 60, 65 times. So it doesn't leave much on the table. So I think, yeah, usually it trades at premium valuation, has traded like that for quite some time. But the type of growth rates we are talking 27, 28, 18, 20%, unless and until that receives an uptick, I think it would not be decent, to buy Titan at these valuations.
All right, Senco Gold. Let's take a look at that one. So clearly now we're seeing the effect of all of the action on precious metals. Senco Gold also up about 11% in trade. Q3 revenue up 51%. That's year on year again. Just look at that spike this morning. Higher gold prices, of course, festive season, all boosting those numbers. So 51% uptick on Q3 revenue for Senco Gold. Let's take a look at the charts on this one. 357, 358 is where it's trading at right now. Let's also pull up some of the trend charts if possible. Sharad, the same logic for a Senco, or would you perhaps stick to one or two stocks, on the gold play, or are you feeling bullish across the board on some of these names?
No, I think if you want to stick to something like gold, usually these jewelry companies don't make money out of higher gold prices. They're particularly hedged. I think the jewelry theme as such is very strong in India, with the working woman population expected to improve substantially and contribute substantially to GDP growth in the years to come. That is like an underutilized population part that is there in the country, and I think more and more women are joining the workforce. So I think particularly jewelry, etc., should have a very decent run up even going ahead. Senco, the big difference is what are you trading at? Next year, you are expecting somewhere around 20 kind of earnings, even with 10, 11% kind of growth. So I think there is possibility that this growth trigger gets rated higher with, gold prices supportive and, urban consumption, etc., going up and the women workforce going up. So I think Senco is a good bet at these levels. Initially, what you could target is somewhere around 2021x. So 400, 420 could be particular levels that you could look at. The valuation is the big difference between Titan and Senco. So I think Senco is trading at decent valuations. So you can target 20, 25 times. So consider 420 as your first targets.
All right, let's take a look at some of the other movers. We've got a Bliss GVS Pharma that's running up. Let's pull that one up for you. That's 4-5%. Cupid is steady today, 4-5% after the recent rout on that one. So possibly stay away for the moment given the kind of route it's seen, but just to mark it that it seems to be coming back or clawing back a little bit. Metal, something like a Nalco, still continued action there, but it's more interesting to track all the earnings action right now as it starts to come in. Let's also pull up, for instance, a Kalyan, a Lodha, just to take a look at some of the other earnings related numbers and see how they're faring as well today. We've got other stocks in news, for example, Biocon, as I mentioned. We've got Bliss Pharma moving. So it's a little bit of pharma and healthcare that we're seeing some news-based action in. Meesho, let's talk about that. Now, the e-commerce firm is set to see the end of a one-month shareholder lock-in on Wednesday. And that's 2% of its outstanding equity. It's going to become eligible for trading. Meesho is down right now, but this is what's happening there. The stock has been trading in a narrow range, if you remember, for the last few months. It's moved above its issue price just recently, and it's becoming eligible for trading according to Nuvama. At the current market price, the shares are valued at about close to 2,000 crores. So basically 2% of its outstanding equity is now going to be up for trade. And at the current market price, the shares are valued at close to 2,000 crores right now. So that's the end of a one-month shareholder lock-in coming in and equity becoming eligible for trading in Meesho. So that's quite a substantial chunk. It's trading at about 174 right now, down 4% today. Sharad, I know that many times you don't like to talk about the recent listings, but any view on Meesho here?
Yeah, I think after the recent correction, it's come down to what, 5.5 times the next year EV to sales. And I think the ideal multiples could be, 7.5 times. So you could be looking at decent upside, but hold on for a year. And as you rightly said, that since new liquidity is coming in, they might have different reasons to exit. So might be you get it lower. So stagger your buying over the next, a month or so and gradually keep buying every 2-3% dip that the stock sees. But I think there could be a possibility that you could be looking at, targets which could be higher by around 25 to 30% from current levels. So I think there is decent upside. You could be looking at what 182 into another 30%. So you looking at around 240, 250, yeah, somewhere around those levels. The recent highs probably, yeah, they could coincide. So I think 250, 260 could be fair valuation over the next 1 year. So that's decent upside, but be prepared for some volatility and some upheavals here and there. So only those people who can take a bit of risk should ideally be considering it. But I think next 1 year, yeah, if the markets are supportive and everything is a risk on, which it should be, then probably this is something that has targets of around 250 to 60.
All right, that's on Misho. Now, Honasa has acquired 95% share capital of BTM Ventures. Let's pull that up for you. The stock's up about 2%, so just marking that one for you. Meanwhile, Keynes, Tech, Dixon, they're falling. Even as Jefferies has actually said that they're expecting strong growth from EMS firms all the way through FY28. But we're seeing a bit of a downtick coming in on these, Keynes and Dixon. And in fact, you know, there's about some amount of profit booking coming in. I guess that's what it's being allocated to. And this is despite positive brokerage views and upgrades coming in on both of those counters. So just marking those for you as well. And I do want to just go back to Reliance for a moment. We've got Jefferies coming in on Reliance as well. And just pulling up the report for you. They've maintained a target of 1830 on an RIL. Remember, we've also had some amount of clarifications coming in from Reliance saying that there's no linkage between its share price movement and reports on Russian oil imports. They've not purchased Russian oil for Jan delivery. Remember, this is in response to a Bloomberg report claiming the same. Bloomberg has also lately clarified on this. And yes, so Reliance saying all disclosures are in line with SEBI regulations. They've not purchased Russian oil and there's no linkage with this to its share price. Jefferies has said that the company has outperformed the Nifty by 19% in the calendar year 25 on restoration of double-digit consumer consolidated EBITDA growth. And they've seen a tariff hike and Jio's listing by the middle of 26 and restoration of mid-teen growth in retail by FY27. So positive on telecom, positive on retail and outperforming the index already, seeing double-digit consolidated EBITDA growth. So very, very strong commentary coming in there on an RIL. They've maintained a buy on that one. Sharad, did the recent move rattle you at all? 1 day, 1 lakh crore lost on an RIL. I can see Sharad smiling. In the long run, I'm not sure how much of a dent it is. Back, I mean, it's still just about 1.5% down for the month, but back in action today.
Yeah, certainly unnerving, you know, when a large cap stock and that to Reliance, which is one of the largest players, where you get no direct correlation to certain news and the stock corrects by 4 or 5% in a day. That is something that will unnerve people. But I think what we are looking at is, you know, beyond the points that you have said, I think the renewable energy roadmap, as they present it more clearly, I think geo listing is something that could have some positive impact, but most of it is already priced in the SOTP because we are valuing it. Some change in ARPUs, yeah, that is something that could be viewed as positive because the ARPUs are at a discount to what Bharti, etc. are getting. So I think that is one place there could be some improvement. Retail would continue to do that, but the valuations are already there in the SOTP, which are considering 1850. But I think the new energy business, if they concretize plans across, you know, hydrogen, CBM, and solar, I think that could be a big value unlocker for them because I think growth there should be very good. And the plans are very concretized for them with the SW solar stake, etc., everything coinciding. So I think that could be a good value unlocker for them. So RE is something that could be a big value unlocker, RE or alternate energy as you call it. So I think a big valuation uptick could come from there if they concretize the plans. Right now, even if you consider current prices and the SOTP valuation without that trigger, I think even then you are looking at 1850. So that's decent upside in a frontline stock. 4-5% fall, yes, certainly unnerving, but I would not read too much into it.
Okay. Just putting up IT and it's been a little up and down on IT. Remember, laggards for the last year, some amount of recovery towards the end of 2025. Still a little choppy in the first few days of the new year. Currently looking strong. It's interesting, we've actually got, again, Jefferies coming out with a note on IT stocks saying that they are, of course, sounding cautionary, but still overall optimistic at this point of time. And they've picked, of course, a couple of key stocks, and I'll run you through those. They have said that AI will continue weighing on growth in 2026 as more clients ask for productivity benefits, but it's still positive over the long run, and that the share of hardware spend in overall IT budgets should rise further, dragging IT services spend for the moment. So they are expecting growth to improve, and they are overall optimistic, but still moderate at this point of time. Let me take a look at some of the names that they're bullish on as well for you. I think HCL Tech from the frontliners is one of the names that's on their list. And along with that, they've also got some of the mid-cap names like Coforce, Agility, IKS, Emphasis, and a whole host of these. Infosys and HCL from the heavyweights are what they're looking at. Sharad, how are you viewing the IT stack, and where are you looking for value amongst this basket?
Yeah, I'm also of the view that, most probably the type of steps that most IT companies have taken, most probably our growth and everything will move in tandem with what's happening internationally with the larger peers. So yeah, within the front lines, I think Infosys certainly looks good. If you're looking at high margin of safety, I think Wipro is a good bet. Wipro and HCL Tech are also, beneficiaries of the data center boom that we are seeing, which is obviously connected to AI. So if we are playing for a long-term theme, I think Wipro certainly makes the cut. Infosys is a good bet long term. I think the type of strategies, etc., that they're putting in place and the valuations currently they're trading at do not have much of fraud. So there could be some re-rating there. Whether this happens this quarter or next quarter, we need to see. But if you have to mix and match, I think Wipro would remain a strong bet considering the long-term data center ploy and the valuation comfort that you have at current valuations. And in the small cap, mid cap space, I think something like a Mastech would be a good story. Something like an Orient Tech we have been looking at. I think that's a good domestic oriented story. And Cyient could be one story that could surprise you on the upside. We believe Orient Tech and Cyient will have much better second halves. And Cyient also had that semiconductor sideline to it. So I think Cyient could be a good mid-cap, small-cap story that you can look at. Orient Tech could continue to do well, though it has moved up most probably in the recent past. So maybe it has moved up. So Cyient and Wipro would be my preferred choices within that.
All right, Sharad, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing strategy as well as key picks with our audience this morning. Do stay tuned, and we'll be back at 3 p.m. for market closing as well. A decent start this morning, slight downtick on the index, but lots of earnings and other rating action ahead of the quarterly reports. Thanks so much for watching. From overnight global cues to live Dalal Street moves, we decode what matters for your money today. From stocks to sectors to the top business news, we've got your morning game plan covered. Watch me, Aabha Bakaya, as I bring you the opening bell action Monday to Fridays, 9:05 a.m. only on India Today.
markets move today to what's setting the stage for tomorrow? From tariffs to taxes, mutual funds to your daily stock queries. Join me as I decode the biggest wealth creating ideas for you at the closing bell. Watch me as I bring to you the Business Today show every weekday at 3 p.m. only on India Today. From how the markets move today to what's setting the stage for tomorrow. From tariffs to taxes, mutual funds to your daily stock queries. Join me as I decode the biggest wealth creating ideas for you at the closing bell. Watch me as I bring to you the Business Today show every weekday at 3 p.m. only on India Today.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you on Business Today Television. We are bang in the middle of the week, a slight back foot for the Nifty. The 26,100 level, the 26,150 level on the index has been on the test for bulls, but strength coming in the broader market, the bank Nifty also slipping 163 points lower, but providing comfort and providing strength to the Nifty is the Nifty IT index about 300 points higher. Look at the broader space, if you will. As far as the advance decline ratio is concerned, well, it's almost even Stevens, 1400 shares in the green, 1200 in the red. So it's an easy 1:1. In terms of indices that are doing pretty well, IT, as I've mentioned, is already up 0.8%. There is strength in the Nifty Metals Index, which is nothing new. Fresh record highs are seen on Hindalco, on National Aluminium. There is strength across the board in Hindustan Zinc. The mid-cap select index is amongst the top gainers, 0.3% higher. Remember, the rally is broadening, which means that, while Nifty, because of the pain that you're seeing in ITC, HDFC Bank and Reliance is down a bit, it's the broadening of the rally. Look at the small cap index, 1/3% higher. Look at the mid cap select index, 1/3% higher. All that is happening, and the pharma space, that's doing very well. 23,125 on the index, 1/3% higher. Look at Lupin, look at Dr. Reddy's, look at the strength that is coming across the board on Apollo hospitals. Those are spaces that are doing immensely well. So that's what the broader markets are doing. Let's drill down to gainers and losers. Titan, fresh record high, 3.65% higher at 42.62. Hindustan Copper in strength. This is the underlying metal that's doing very well. And of course, how can you ignore the new high on MCX, 2310 for you? Again, the metal play. Vedant doing extremely well, 1% higher, 628, again metal, and fresh highs in Torrent Pharma, SBI Life, and of course strength in Jindal Stainless as well. So that's the broader markets that are moving in terms of fresh highs, but volume buzzers, good data coming in from Concord Bio. This is a pharmaceutical company, 4.4% higher, 1412. Tata Elxsi 3% higher, Natco Pharma, Aurobindo Pharma, and PPL Pharma. These are amongst the gainers as far as the pharma pack is concerned. So defensive market, look at the moves that are happening in the FMCG index as well. That is a space which is doing pretty okay as far as select counters are concerned. Tata Consumer had moved yesterday, but look at the strength that's coming into GM Breweries, 2.8% higher. Look at how Britannia is moving 1.2% higher. There was strength in Nestle as well. So these are spaces that are doing extremely well. Let's take a view on the market. Gaurav Sharma, Associate VP and Head of Research at Globe Capital is with us. Namaste Gaurav ji, a very warm welcome. A view on the broader markets at this point of time?
Ranji, namaskar and good morning. Yes, from past couple of trading sessions, Nifty is feeling under pressure. after trading at all-time highs, some bit of profit taking is seen. Although it has not intensified too much, but yes, still it is having a toll on the markets. As we speak, market bets is literally flat. The advanced decline ratio is absolutely on a flattish tone. A mixed bag as far as sector performance is concerned. IT and consumer durables are performing pretty well, closely followed by the metal bag, which is just completely outshining and I think gaining momentum. Today, I think Bangkok has lost its shine. Therefore, it is having a toll on the markets. Yesterday, after HDFC Bank's profit taking, again it is having a toll and hitting southwards. 940 is what where the actual support lies. So I think it should test these levels maybe today or by tomorrow and rest around those levels. Reliance, which actually was hammered in yesterday's trade, is somewhat trying to hold some ground. I think a level close to 1500, 1480 is its good support zone. Till the point that level is held, we can expect a revival in Nifty index. But all in all, not a great start for this week. A lot of uncertainties are just moving around. Trades are not settling in that well. So I believe firmly that 26,000, 2650 is a firm support level for Nifty index. If it gets around those levels, it becomes a buying opportunity.
Fine, sir. A view that you would hold at on Reliance and ITC at this point of time. ITC has been hammered fairly strongly, and the counter is still in pain. 343 for you. This is a multi-month low as far as the broader charts are concerned. This is a price that we last saw in January of 2023. A view on ITC also.
Yeah, challengingly, the news of the tax increase by the government came in some days back, and stock was hammered badly. It was trading at 405, 410 odd levels when this news came up, and it slipped sharply. Currently, it is quoting at 340. So already we have seen slightly over 15% cut in that kind of a stock. The business ITC is in, it is actually a demand in elastic business with respect to the price. Therefore, ITC will be passing on the entire price hike to the end user, and I don't really think it will have any meaningful impact on its top line. Therefore, this cut from a longer term perspective, medium to long term perspective, can be considered as a buying opportunity.
Fine. Aabha joins us. Over to you, Aabha. At the moment, Nifty now kissing almost 26,150. So the test of 150 and 200 on way as far as the index is concerned. Okay, she'll be joining us shortly. 940, ladies and gentlemen. At this moment, you have 26,100, 130 on the Nifty being tested by the bulls as well as the bears. Let's look at the pullers and draggers as far as the markets are concerned. That will give you an idea of how the space is at this point of time. Infosys in strength, 1.4% higher. This is an index heavyweight. Reliance now edging up 10%. My apologies, up 10 rupees 50 after yesterday's drubbing. Titan, good numbers coming in. Therefore, strength 4% higher, fresh record high. HCL Tech and ICICI Bank are also helping the Nifty on its way up. Pulling it down is HDFC Bank, 1% lower on the charts. Bharti Airtel again 1% lower. L&T Bajaj Finance slipping down as well. Let's get Gaurav back into the action. Gaurav, what advice is Globe Capital handing out in terms of expectations from third quarter earnings?
We are expecting good and reasonable performance from the banking pack. We remain bullish on this space. We were bullish on 2025 and we remain bullish on the same all throughout the year. We are expecting good performance coming in from the auto ancillary space. So we are recommending the same to our clients. Here's a general disclaimer as well that they may have certain positions in stock. We have a buy rating on FIAM and Motherson Sumi. Uno Minda is also recommended by our firm. So these are some areas we are bullish at. From a shorter term perspective,
Okay.
pharma is looking attractive. Some of the pharma names like Aurobindo Pharma, Natco Pharma, Divis Labs, they are looking pretty good. And I think a 5 to 7% up move, even from the current levels, is pretty much possible in the coming couple of days.
Okay, fair point. A mid-cap rally in pharma space is right there, evident in front of us. Let me just mark a couple of stocks that are moving. Reliance, of course, now 0.8% higher after yesterday's very sharp down move. Lupin now almost at day's high. You have 2201 coming in. Alchem Labs at 5722 is 1.8% higher. So this is all sinking into what Gaurav's thoughts are on the pharma space. SBI a bit weak today, 0.7% lower, but strength coming into IEX, 2.6% higher, 152.60. So that's the stage, ladies and gentlemen, where the markets are on this fine Wednesday morning. Glenmark also joining the rally from the pharma space, 1.8% higher. Reddy's almost in the green, 1258. So that's the status that is in the markets at this point of time. 943. Gaurav, anything else that you are observing?
Some bit of bottom formation is very clearly visible on IEX. Although I've not been a great fan of this stock, but from a trading standpoint, yes, it looks attractive. I think it is all set for a fresh breakout. Short-term traders can consider taking a position in the stock when the stock is able to sustain above 153 levels for some time in day's trade, and it is likely to head towards even 170. That is another 10% from the current levels where it is. Yesterday, it saw a good buying momentum. Today, it is building onto it. I think any break above 153, 155 is a reasonable buying opportunity. At that time, a tight stop loss at 149 should be enough.
Fair point. So that's the status, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the energy exchange is concerned. Electricity futures are traded on IEX, and yes, it's seen terrible days and a bit of move coming in, which might bring glad tidings to long-term shareholders. Final question, Gaurav, before we call it a day. A view on Reliance and a view on L&T at this point of time.
Firstly, I'll address Reliance. So, the decline that came in yesterday was the outcome of the news that surfaced on some of the larger news platforms like Reuters and Bloomberg that suggested that Reliance had been buying Russian crude even after sanctions and Indian government agreeing not to buying that. Even before market opening, the company clarified that they have not purchased any fresh Russian oil, neither they are expecting any shipments in the month of January. Still, it was beaten down, and I think it was largely because of the sole reason that if and when Reliance is not purchasing crude from Russia at the cheaper rates of what it was enjoying a very smart buying price in connivance with the Indian government that they have built a trade deal with Russia. Now, who will be the seller? From where will they be sourcing, and at what prices? And I think whatever prices they'll be sourcing, it will be nowhere close to what it was the Russian crude. Therefore, that will adversely affect and have a toll on their GRMs, which largely impact their petchem business and have a toll on their forthcoming quarterly earnings as well. I think this is the crux of what and why Reliance's shares tanked in yesterday's trade. Now, as far as
Fine.
Larsen to Grow is concerned,
Yes.
yes, as
Please
far as
continue,
Larsen
sir.
to Grow is concerned, share my view on this stock. I want to make a disclaimer. We have a buy rating of this on this stock. We have recommended it to our clients. Therefore, they may have a position. They may be holding these clients, this stock. We are very much optimistic on Larsen and Toubro from entire 2025. We take it forward to this year as well. We are expecting good amount of announcements towards the infra space in the union budget. L&T it will be a larger beneficiary to it. The kind of consolidation at higher levels it has already posted, I think it is set for a fresh up move. Now, coming on to their quarterly numbers, they have a very smart order book. They have posted very good numbers, but it has not resulted in the appreciation in the stock price. Therefore, valuations are pretty much reasonable. I think even at these levels, this stock can be considered for at least coming 2 to 3 quarters. It has all probabilities of outperforming.
Right. On that very optimistic note, Gaurav, thank you for your time. And let's just call it a day as far as markets are concerned. The first half an hour going to the bears as far as the Nifty is concerned. Again, the test of 26,100 is happening. Let's see whether it holds or not. And below that is 26,08, a strong support level. Helping the bank up is helping the Nifty up is the IT index 200 points higher, but a pull down on the Nifty bank 200 points lower. News continues on Business Today television. There is a lot of activity in the markets. For the best of it, please remain glued to BTTV. Thank you for watching.